things just taking shape and form and flowing. And it turns out that we have now confirmed that we are having a night lodge ceremony, and that's exciting. Well, it's a lot of work, and there's stuff there, but so there's a bunch more stuff that just went into my brain, and it's starting to take up some space, and I'm like, okay, like you're hosting an event kind of thing, right? So, and that's a bit of work, and but it's exciting for that because it challenges the way you think, because our human mind can get in the way. It's just like, because we're the ones that do the invitation of who comes to the ceremony, and we can we can invite hundreds of people and fill it up, but we don't have the space for that. So we have to limit it. So we kind of have to be like controlling in a way. And it's like, you can only invite one person, and that person has to figure this out. So there's just so much going on in my head. I don't know about Joe's, but I know that it's all going to work itself out, because it did. Just like this week, there was nothing. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff. So it's just a really neat flow witnessing it.
And we're having it up in Oliver on Native Guy's property. So we're gonna hold it like in a garage. We're gonna clear out the garage so we can fit about 50 people in there. And we're hoping, well, I'm hoping it'll start about 6 o'clock. The medicine man is coming in, he's driving down. And so I'm really hoping it'll start about 6 o'clock and end maybe 10, 11 o'clock, like something like that. The day after the
lunar eclipse.
The lunar eclipse. So it should be really interesting, should be lots of energy. And that lunar eclipse, part of it is healing and removing or letting go of some stuff from the past. So I'm hoping this will really, really help people. It lined up that way. So we ended up getting some free carpet. These people were giving away carpet. So we're going to put that down because the cement will be cold. So it'll be between people and the cold cement. There's a wood stove in the building. I'm going to go there early, and I want to light and make sure the place is really nice and warm for the time we have the ceremony. I'd like to be there early too, because I have a feeling there'll be a lot of people showing up and just being there and ready for whatever has to go on.
So when preparing for these ceremonies, so I asked Joe what his thought was, because I had this thought of it, and he agreed with me, and it was an interesting one. So the medicine man, it's like what he does is he opens a space through his ceremony, through his practice of in complete blacked out darkness. So nobody can see anything. And then that medicine man opens what I describe as a window of a new dimension. And we all are sitting in it. So while we're in that pitch black, there's a whole bunch of spirit activity that goes on with like ancestors and guides and such. So they'll do healing on you. They're hearing your prayers, and you're in your prayers, and you're mindful of your thoughts, because it's like you've just stepped into a different realm of energy while the medicine man is in his doing what he's doing. So it's kind of neat, because it's like you're leaving this reality and you're stepping into a different reality for a couple hours. And while you're in that reality, you really want to be conscious and aware of your thoughts, your energy, and why you're there, because it's about your prayers. And then in the native culture, they do these. They're prayer flags, and they're 4 1-meter square broadcloth of the 4 directions, color for each direction. And they're called prints, or they're called prayer flags. And you sit with these prayer flags and you pray over them for days, weeks before. This is your preparation. This is how you get clear on your prayers, because then you go to the medicine man and you gift a pouch of tobacco and your prayer flags, and it's a gift to spirit. And so you gift that, and then it's put on an altar, and there's like a huge mountain of these colorful prayer flags. And then after the ceremony is done, the medicine man takes all of the prayers and he releases them in nature somewhere at a different time. So it's really all about your prayers.
Yeah. So white flag, north, white people. Blue flag west or black flag in the west is Africa, Africans. Yellow flag, I say in the east. I mean, in the south, a lot of people say in the east, it's the Orientals. So that one, and then the red is, I put it in the east for the natives. And so each one is a color, but it also symbolizes a direction. So when I'm praying, this call in the spirits, the east, south, west, and north, this also represents that. In the four directions, there's spirit beings, energy, and other things from other worlds and places you may have been before you came here to be human, or you're still connected to for whatever reason. So we believe in that. We believe there's always something coming to you from one of these directions every day. And there's a lot of teachings and a lot of meanings. So when you go in sweat lodges, you'll see the flags hung, the colors you'll see above the sweat lodge pitch, the where they put the rocks. In the Sundance, they'll have them at the doors, the gates. There's one on either side. There's the colors in those directions. So these are really important. We believe that our prayers and our thoughts and that are in them. In the ancient times, from what I understand, is they would shave wood very, very thin, and they would draw and put symbols on it. And after the ceremony, they would hang it in the trees, and over time it would deteriorate and go back into the earth. And these are things that they would do to help bring in things to whatever you're asking for, because you're putting your intentions in it, and basically it's an energy you're infusing in it. So it's something you're giving, the spirits will look at and help and bring through something to help you in this lifetime.
I think there's a really good importance there is that your prayers are powerful. Do you realize that? And if you question it a little bit more, it's like, well, how? And are they really? And then sit with that and look inside, and you will discover something. I know you will. It's like meditating on it. Where I was reading in my book this morning, The Complete Reader, once again, and he was saying that when we are focusing on what it is that we're desiring, and so that's also your prayer, and then you become very conscious of your desired outcome. There's an energy that comes with it. There's a consciousness that comes with this desire. But then he's saying how we separate ourselves from that desire or that vision that we've created. And when we separate ourselves, it's like the disconnect happens, and we go like, why didn't that happen? Why didn't that come to pass? It's like your focus on yourself or that discovery got disconnected. And I'm not sure if I'm explaining it quite how it landed for me, but I really could see how Joe, when in his stories he tells about like his youth, he's just like, I wanted to know, and nothing was going to stop me from knowing the answer to this question. And for example, Joe's story about how he wanted to know how we fall asleep, what happens when we fall asleep. And he was a kid, and he was like, I am not going to sleep until I know how we fall asleep. And then he could feel himself, and then he saw, how did you describe it?
You know, I could feel myself lifting out of my body and floating upside down like a balloon. But I still didn't understand that in between, that separation, because at a certain point it would pop, and then I would wake up in the morning. And I wanted to know where that pop was from this reality to that reality. There's this change where you're in dream time and you're separated from the body in this world. So that's when I was trying to figure out, and I never have. And I spent, I don't know how many months, every night I would argue with the universe and try not to fall asleep, trying to understand that transition from this world to that one. And all I know is my spirit would separate, and then somewhere I would end up in dream time, and then I would wake up in my body again. So I never really got the answer, but like I said, I put a lot of energy and effort and time into trying to solve that.
that's that intense focus, right? It's that intense desire that we have to know something, to experience something. And how long can you stay in that desire without that separation? Because I mean, I can see it in myself, and it's like, oh yeah, I was in it there, and then I was not over there. And so I got to see how you go in and out of these ideas or these thoughts or these feelings and these energies, and we're pretty accepting of it, but we also have an ability to shift that up so that we can open up greater space for us to go deeper, and knowing that there is a different level of focus inside of ourselves to access. I mean, to what extent it's different for each person, right? You may already know this about yourself, and that's really great. That's awesome. But most people aren't aware of it because they've just been so used to living in this world, the way this world is full of distractions, giving you, it's like, you want this, you need this, and there's so much to fill our space with that we don't go that deep with our desires and our thoughts and our creating of our realities. But yeah.
I was thinking today, it kind of has to do with what you were saying of focusing on something that you want to achieve. So let's call it manifestation. But I was thinking today and yesterday, or especially today, about a song that I've had in my head, and I was contemplating on the words, and I'm wondering, why is this song chasing me? Like I Googled it, and it's an old Bulgarian song from the 80s, so it's about 40 years old, maybe 30 something. So I watched the video, and then I was thinking for a while, why is this song, what does it want to tell me actually? And then I forgot about it. And today I was having a walk along the park, and there was a group of people with a radio, portable radio, and there was this song playing. And I was thinking that what are the chances of me hearing this particular song, and then at the same time I was thinking how fast my consciousness manifests this song, because I'm thinking about it, or I have thought about it intensely for a while, and even if it means nothing, just the mere fact that I've had a focus on it attracted it so fast. And I'm like, this is like almost instantaneous. It's the same day.
I think that's a perfect example.
Yeah, there's mornings where I wake up and there's a song playing, like an old song from the past, and I'm like, why is this playing? And usually they say when something like that is going on, somewhere in it there's a message or an answer to something. So I really pay attention to them when they're doing that. I'm like, okay, I know there's a message here, and this is what they're doing to give me an answer.
I look at it, it's like that intense focus, it's like it's in your head. It's in your head. You keep
exactly. I think it's the intense focus more, because I couldn't find the answer in the words, but it was more like the intense focus that showed me.
Yeah. And so then that leads perfect into the segue about where I asked Joe. This is like, what is it like for you, or how do you switch from person to person in the meditation focus that we do? And he says, I just say their name inside my head. And then it's just like something opens up and something comes through. He knows how to just that one thought, and he's allowing that to flow through, and then he switches to the next person. And he says sometimes it comes in just before even we're moving on to the next person, because he knows he's going into it, and how fast it can manifest itself to bring through those answers when you have sort of trained your mind or your focus to just know how to go into that energy and switch the channels. And that's what we're doing here in this meditation group every week. And look how fast we go from one person into the next person focus, and how we can access just as quickly as our thought and energy go to that one focus.
Yeah, it's like Mercedes and Cindy and other people that do massage or any kind of energy work. Your clients are coming in, who's going to be next. So once you're finished a client, that client leaves, this one comes in, and you start doing stuff, and somewhere you go into a meditative state, and you just know the things that it just starts flowing through you. You just know what to do to walk the person through, release things. And it's the same thing as meditation. And we're always doing this, but a lot of times we're unconscious because we're more in the world, we're more in everything around. So our minds just jump everywhere. But we're doing it in so many different ways. And they say that we go into a meditative state anywhere from 10 to 15, well, 10 to 20, I think it is, times throughout the day. And we do these little blips in our day. We just sort of pause and we glimpse things, and then we go about things, and we pause and we glimpse things, and we're constantly looking at things without really fully being always aware of it. And that's where you're opening up your mind. Like I say, you have to be the master of your mind. The more conscious you become aware, you can sit in a room and be aware of everything. Even if there's people behind you, you can know everything they're doing and stuff about them. Even if you've never turned around to look, you could pretty well know what's going on behind you and who's coming and sitting down and stuff. So you really become conscious of that. And our brains can do many more things, but we have to live in this world. So we put up these filters and we do a lot of things. This meditation is teaching us how to sit in that. And I always say, if you're going to meditate and you're really wanting an answer or something, think about it for a while, because this is what they teach in Tibetan Buddhism, and that is they will tell you a story in that, and they'll tell you to focus on a certain thing. They'll say, okay, we're going to meditate now, focus on this. And so you're putting your mind there, and then the Lama will guide you down into this place. And then you just open up and you just start receiving all kinds of answers. And how that theater opens up for you, because it is a channel. There's something you're dialing in. And everybody is a little different on their language, because the way I see things and translate it, other people, if they're watching it, sometimes they won't understand it, because I have a certain kind of language that comes in very quickly from me, and these different say TV stations I'm dialing into, and once I open them up, they come in really rapidly. So that's where is that consciousness is. We got to become conscious. Like Cindy is becoming conscious of her face and her muscles, and she's going deeper and deeper in. She's actually becoming conscious of her body, but also her mind, where her thoughts and where she goes. And she's pulling herself more centered, where she's just opening up and letting herself feel and understand everything. Because feeling is so important. We forget, we push feeling out. When we need to feel the energies, we need to feel the different guides, we need to feel all these different subtle things. And when you're not afraid, you just sort of shift in and out of these things a lot quicker. And sometimes even with your eyes open, you can see all kinds of stuff going on around people, and it's just a part of yourself you're allowing to do that, and then it just closes off. I don't try to stay in bliss and highs and all kinds. I just let it open, close. And I just walk through it all day. I don't want to command it or anything. I just, if I need an answer, whatever is going to come, it's going to happen, and it's there.